You're watching Pitch Up with the Pates. Welcome back to the channel, and you join me today at the NEC at the Motorhome and Caravan Show 2025. So just coming up to the Xplore stand, so I'm quite excited to see the Xplore Caravan range. So as we have a look here, you've got the light single axle 4-berth. Quite interested to see that with the side L-shaped lounge on there. So that would be what would have been the 304. You've got the duo single axle 2-berth, and then you've got the quad single axle 4-berth. So we'll have a quick look at these. It looks like it's a popular stand again, as with the Swift Sprites. It's good to see Caravans back at the show in a vengeance. So this is the Xplore XC Duo. So you've got a free power touch motor mover show offer. So you've got the front lounge with huge seat into the front, so that'll make up into a good sized bed. Really like the decor, the fabric schemes, the colour schemes used in here. It's a little bit perhaps too grey for me. I think things have moved on in terms of like home decor with the greys, but it does work really well. It's fresh, it's modern, it's got to appeal to sort of a younger demographic perhaps. Storage wise, you've got lockers all around the lounge area, sort of wrap around. Really like the pale woods colours on the locker door fronts. Shelved in that one. Yeah, so plenty of storage there. Really large front windows, so you've got to let lots of light in, and then you've got sort of a double width almost roof light above. Front chest area pulls out into a table. Just push that back in. 240 volt to the front there. Yeah, this is on the face of it. I knew that these would look modern and fresh from looking at the website. You've got an area there for additional preparation for the kitchen. Microwave above, Russell Hobbs microwave. I always find though with the eldest that these catches here, you haven't got much to grip hold of. I always find them quite awkward to pull from a design perspective. Kitchen area, it's compact, but it's going to be in a kitchen of this size. You've got the extractor above there, the omni vent. Really like the rear and rear side window. Couple of 240 volt sockets. You've got dual fuel. It's interesting. It's useful. For triplex. Plenty of drawers, although that is only small because of the sink area. Quite like the black tap, although they tend to show sort of the build-up of limescale from hard water. We tend to find that at home. I had to have a water softener put in just because of everything getting trashed by the hard water in the area that we live. Storage in the corner there. That's a lost corner. You'll lose all your tins and things in there. That was quite shallow. Storage for your plates, cups, etc. Don't get those in the Sprite from what I've seen today. And then whip through into the washroom. It's got a nice shower. Yeah, it looks really fresh. Not a single piece though. It's got sealant in there. Nice black trim. And you've got some storage, and then you've got the vent above. Back through into the lounge area, Dometic fridge freezer, and then you've got huge, it's deep anyway, wardrobe. So you're not going to be able to hang your long coats in there, but it's really sort of deep and wide, so still a reasonable amount of room. Pre-installed there for Wi-Fi. Max view system. So yeah, really fresh. I think Eldis are on the money with this one. Feel like, yeah, it's possibly hits the spot. We'll have a quick look at the price and weights as we go out. Nice little van, that. Yeah, quite impressed. So 23,499, so slightly more expensive than the Sprite. It's on the road charge 750, so total 24,249. It's a bit naughty with the just have the main price advertised, but you do get that free power touch motor mover. But the graphics are smart on the outside. Alloy wheels. Got these grey type lockers again, like with the Sprite. Weight wise, 1150 kg. So it's going to be good for electric vehicles, for smaller vehicles. Got your gas for the outside. Yeah, it's a really nice looking caravan. Xplore XC Duo. An Xplore XC Quad then. We'll have a quick look in there. So this one, we'll go straight for the bottom price there, 26,249. So the price point of these is higher than the Sprite. So you're sort of pushing more into Challenger money. So I think it's unfair to pitch this directly with the Swift, because it is pushing into that Challenger range. So the Sprite itself does present better value for money. However, I really like the styling of these, the grey sides, the decals, and we'll go through into this fixed bed version. So this would be the equivalent to the Sprite Major SB. It feels really spacious. Bigger kitchen area, of course. This one is on the offside. Oh, that's why it smells so nice in here. Did wonder. I thought it would. Thinking the wood smells nice. No, it's air fresheners, and they do obviously put lots of lighting in here, which gives a false interpretation at the show. Dometic fridge freezer. You've got the triplex again, the Thetford triplex, but you've got the electric hot plate, which is good. You've got the black taps, little TV area there, TV and 12 volt, 240 volts. Russell Hobbs microwave, storage above, but those small sort of little knobs there, I don't like that. It's difficult to get your sort of big fingers around. And this is the transverse island bed. So that must be in night mode, because there's not a lot of room to shuffle down there. I'm going to have to push that in. Has that got an extension piece in? Yeah, it's quite tight. TV mounting point there to the side. So they have thought about that, even though it's an entry-level caravan. And then we'll just go through, have a quick look in the washroom. Lockers above the bed. It's quite a standard design, this, in many manufacturers. There's not a lot you can do differently, I guess, with a transverse island. And washroom design. Thetford toilet. You've got some cupboard space above. Toiletries. It's big enough to get those in. Okay, you've got the black tap, shower. Not a single piece, but it's reasonable size. Spotlight in there, so it's still bright. And then you've got that roof light vent above. So yeah, it's can't necessarily pitch this against the Sprite because of the price point is slightly different. I guess it's more in competition with somewhere between the Sprite and the Challenger. But I do like this, and I guessed I would, looking at the photographs online. So there we have it. I've got one more to look at now, just to finish up the trio. So let's have a quick look. In fact, we'll look at the price before we go in. 22,749. So this one's more in line with the Sprite. So as in terms of pricing and competition, this particular van when it was the 304. It always fascinates me how much you can get into a small shell. Got the Russell hobs above, kitchen area, little cutlery drawer there. This pulls out into a small double. The big selling point to this lounge for me is the big front window. Absolutely love that, and the side window as well. So if you like to have a nosy when you're on a campsite, you'll definitely achieve that in this caravan. TV point there with that little table that folds down, so you've got a little storage area. Little cubby hole here. Obviously blown air in these caravans at this price point. Wardrobe above. The fridge freezer, got your table in there as well. It's Dometic. You've got your side dinette, which makes up into bunks. Roof light above. You've got a omnivent just above there in the kitchen, and you've got a really large roof light just above the lounge. What I would probably say is it's probably missing some lighting here in the dinette. So you've got a light just there, and it could do with maybe one in that corner just above that seating area. It does look a little bit dingy. If we didn't have the show light here, that would be a dark corner. In fact, I don't know if and there we go. So that's proved that theory. I do like the styling of this. And then you've got an integrated washroom there with the shower, all black accessories again, so really modern. And then you've got that vent above, and this has definitely got that air freshener in again because it smells really good in here. You've got your Whale hot water and heating, and that's your control unit. I do find in the eldest range that this control unit, I don't know whether it looks very industrial. It's not the most ergonomic, sort of prettiest looking unit. It feels, I'm not suggesting it looks homemade, but it's just not the most robust looking, or maybe it is robust and it's just not particularly very pretty. Maybe that's the way around. But yeah, modern, spacious, compact little caravan. I'm always surprised at how much they can get in these small shells. And the price hasn't particularly, thank you very much, the price hasn't particularly changed an awful lot since the dealer special incarnation, the Xplore Active at Kimberley. So I do still think with that motor mover, the Xplore XC Lite is probably, for me, the pick of the range. But then I've always been a fan of the 304, so I guess that's slightly biased in that perspective. I could see myself one day when it's just myself and Beck owning a 304, just because it does everything you need to do, easy to tow, nice and light, and it's not necessarily, if you compare it to some of the larger, more luxurious caravans, going to break the bank. So you've got the CVX5, the CVX8 and the CVX9. So panel vans, camper vans are getting very popular, and I can see why. With the price of vehicles now in terms of cars getting so expensive, you look at a basic Volkswagen Golf and I'm sure they're somewhere in the 40,000s. You can have a little home for 77. If you work from home, for example, and you could get rid of one car, you could have something like this perhaps. But yeah, I like this because it's a lot more low-key than the Swift Trekker. The Swift Trekker's a lot more shouty than this. I do like low-key campers because if you're parking it next to the beach, if you're leaving it in a car park, pub car park on a road somewhere, you don't necessarily want everybody looking at what you've got, where I feel like this, it's eye-catching without being too flash that it's going to draw unnecessary attention. So it's on a Fiat Ducato cab, so that'd be my preference over the Ford, I think. Just from a personal point of view, that's not to say that the Ford isn't a great choice. I just personally like the Fiat. yeah, that's a really smart looking pop top panel van. Really cool, like sort of apocalyptic style wheels. Yeah, there's something very subtly cool about this. Again, I think Xplore have really nailed it with the styling of their camper vans and caravans. I think they seem to understand the demographic and who they're aiming these at. It's also good to see that the aerial up there is also black, because you often see, I've seen it on the Bailey Endeavour, where they've still got the white aerial on a grey or black camper, and it does stand out like a sore thumb. So this one's got the rear bed that makes up, so you've got normally access through, this folds out, and then you've got memory foam style bed in the back here. And because of the colours that they've used, it does feel relatively spacious. Free Isabella accessory pack at the show. That's quite interesting. So you've got one four-sided Carbon X windbreak, two directors' chairs, a coffee table, and a coffee cup set. Nice. Worth over £520, I'm sure it is, with it being Isabella. So up in we go on an automatic gearbox, so that's going to be very smooth to drive. I would prefer the automatic. You've got a dinette here, and then you'd have ladder access up into the pop top. And I like the fact that manufacturers are putting the roof lights in the pop top, so obviously when it's down you've still got light coming into the camper van. Similar to the Xplore Caravan range, you've got the triplex Thetford cooker with the electric hot plate. Great to see the microwaves, which obviously when we looked at the Sprite range they didn't have the microwave, whereas the Xplore range throughout the camper vans and the caravans have kept a microwave in there. You've got a Thetford fridge freezer there, and then just squeezing through into, for a camper, what I would say is relatively generous integrated shower room, washroom. Got some mirrors there to make it feel a little more spacious. Perhaps would have been nice to have some venting above there, but really good to see a window, so you could always just crack that slide. You want to open it too far if you're having a shower, obviously, and let the campsite see, unless that's your thing. So there we have it, the Xplore range from Eldis. From a marketing point of view, yeah, they've got this good. They've got this right. It's cool. And oh, there we go, there's the Isabella freebies. I've got that same table, so very lightweight. Yeah, I like that. This one's the CVX8, again pop top above. That automatic gearbox on the Ducato. The difference with this one being you've got this lounge area. So before it was a bed which made up, but you had the walk through with no seating, so you have the dinette to the front but no seating to the rear, but you've got a actual mattress rather than a lounge area that makes up into a bed. Oh, we've got a casualty. Someone's broken something there. USB A's. In fact, it was only yesterday I was charging the microphones and gimbal for the phone and the GoPro, and I think all but one charging lead was USB-C. So I ran out at home of sockets on the wall with USB-Cs, but I had loads of USB-A's available. So yeah, that's quite old school really, to be sticking USB-A's in there. So it would have been nice to see USB-C connectivity. That would have made life easier for charging things. But yeah, there we have it. This Eldis Xplore stand looks very, very cool. Yeah, I'm a fan of those. Nice little stand, nice little vans. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.